Welcome to the We Grow Together podcast, where we believe that our collective growth is the key to unlocking our individual potential. I'm your host, Laura DiFrancesco, entrepreneur, corporate attorney, investor, and founder of Dean Street Law, Flourish co-working space, Ethereal Farms, Laura DiFrancesco, LLC, and a few more. In each episode, I'll be sharing solo insights and engaging in thought-provoking conversations with community leaders, entrepreneurs, and innovators. Together, we'll delve into inspiring stories, best practices, and tactical tips, all rooted in our philosophy that we grow together. Our mission is to support, educate, and celebrate billions of women and entrepreneurs in the pursuit of their dreams, embracing their most authentic self, and living a well-lived life. Join me as we explore entrepreneurship, lifestyle design, wellness, and a lifetime of learning. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or someone looking to design a life you love, this podcast is for you. Tune in to the We Grow Together podcast, because by sharing our stories and learning from one another, we can achieve more than we ever thought possible. Welcome back to the We Grow Together podcast. I am so excited. It's been a long time coming. We've had a break for a few years, and I'm sure you know, with COVID, running multiple businesses, it definitely threw us for a loop, and I've been wanting to revamp and revitalize and reshare the podcast for so long, so I am beyond excited to be back with you. I figured we have some catching up to do, so we might as well catch up a little bit. I think from the intro, you'll hear we have a few more businesses that have been added to the roster. So let's catch up. We're going to talk a little bit about my journey of entrepreneurship. Obviously, we have multiple businesses now. Basically, every year I've launched a new business, and I promise this isn't what I plan to do for the rest of my life. I think that would be a little much. I have a lot more years to live. But basically, January of 2019, I founded Dean Street Law. January of 2020, we launched Flourish. Of course, it started renovations sooner than that. January of 2021, I launched Laura DiFrancesco, LLC, my educational brand with the shop, with Wild Ambition, lifestyle design course, and all of our legal courses, 60 days to launch your business, acquisition insights, legal foundations, all of that. And something that I've been growing and building on all of these. And then January of 2022, launched the Ethereal Farms luxury accommodations down in southern Chester County, Pennsylvania, right next to our sister farm, Wayvine Winery and Vineyard, and have multiple other businesses as well. So it has been a tremendous journey, and I'm so excited to dive deeper into it with you and catch up a little bit. So I really wanted to bring back the We Grow Together podcast because, one, it's been one of my absolute favorite things that we've ever done. It's so incredible sharing stories. It's been something that I've been doing for over a decade. I've shared probably close to 100 or more stories of community leaders, entrepreneurs, and of course my own stories and takeaways. I'm really, truly passionate about sharing everything that I know to support others in their journey. It blows my mind that we can walk into a library and it has such an incredible wealth of knowledge for us to learn from. If you know me, you know me well. I am such a lover of books and knowledge. I've read, it's beginning of June, and I've read well over 50 books so far this year, majority of those nonfiction, although we do love our fiction as well. So I'm a lifelong learner, and as someone who has invested so much in learning myself and done so much to curate my life and give it direction and have a compass and truly bring my dreams to life, I'm very passionate about sharing what I know with others. My mission is to support, educate, celebrate more than 1 billion dreamers and people who have something on their heart to bring out into the world. both in my lifetime and beyond. I want to leave a lifetime of legacy, and I truly see this podcast as being part of that. So I'm so excited for you to join me for the We Grow Together podcast. Please be sure to connect with me on all the social media platforms. My website is lauradifrancesco.co. All of the websites for all of my businesses and all of their social are down in the show notes below. And of course, you can follow me and connect on Instagram at LauraMDFrancesco and all the social platforms, TikTok and whatnot as well. So today, let's go back in history. Let's talk about where it all started and how I've gotten to where I am today and why I've been able to, in my opinion, accomplish so much in such a short period of time. So first off, I grew up on a farm. I am a farm girl at heart and a farm girl today. I start my mornings taking care of my little ducklings. I woke up, took care of some things at the house, had my celery juice, did a little bit of ice rolling, and then let out my ducks and my chickens so they could wander about, said hi to the horses and the goats and the donkeys and my dogs. Molly went for a run with me this morning. Usually it's Molly and Ember both. And sometimes even Miss Tiger Kitty. She loves to hike with us. And I have my cats and everything. So I'm a true farm girl. And that's where I grew up. That's what inspires so much of my life and truly influences so much of my perspective. It's something that has had such an integral part of who I am. I talked in one of my podcasts with my friend Shannon Missimer on her podcast. It is the Motion of Gratitude podcast. So if you want to check it out, it'll be in the show notes. But one of the things I mentioned is that analogy of being in an environment where you can fall on grass. And that doesn't have to be literal, no matter your situation. But truly, I believe in a place where kids can grow up and make mistakes and fall and experiment and try new things and just live in this place where they can fall down and it's okay. And that was something that I was encouraged to do. We had a very laissez-faire parenting style. And sometimes I think you can tell I have a lot of energy, a lot of exuberance. And so my parents would just say, if I'm too energetic at dinner, they would say, go run a few miles, go run a few laps of the farm, and then come back and sit down. And, there was no time that you had to be in the house. There was really very little rules, if any. And we just entertained ourselves. We created worlds in chalk with my sisters. It was so much fun. And something totally different that I did was that my parents really brought me into their work at a very early age. As a toddler, I was carrying coloring books into board meetings and negotiations. My mom was teaching me how to do tax returns when I could barely add numbers before I was even, you can learn that in first and second grade, but I was doing full tax returns by the time I was in third grade. It was crazy, but such an incredible experience having someone treat me as an adult, as a child, and enable me to be at those tables before I even knew that some people had a hard time being at those tables and showing up and even being their most authentic, true self at those tables. So I had a very fortunate opportunity to see entrepreneurship modeled in my parents and see how they really pursued what they were doing. And while I didn't cognizantly know consciously as a child that they were doing things that they didn't always know how to do because they did portray that confidence that they knew what they were doing, it was very clear that we just did what we wanted to do. And they encouraged that in me. And I'm very grateful for that because I have always gone through life in a way that I don't bring the baggage of not believing in myself to what I'm doing. I know that there's going to be so many challenges in life all by itself. Life will give me the challenges. I don't need to bring the challenges to life. And so when I'm doing something or thinking of something, I'm not stressing or worrying or thinking about how it's going to be hard. I'm okay with life being hard. I grew up on a farm. I grew up, tugging around 50-pound bales of hay when I was barely more than 50 pounds myself. I know how to tackle hard things and I'm okay with that, but I don't have that constant mental drag on challenging whether I'm suitable for something or whether I should believe in myself or whether I should take the next step. I leave all that behind and I truly focus on what's the next step I can think of, how can I position myself for success, where do I want to go, and just start to take action and do it and believe in myself. I think if I had a superpower in the world, it would be the fact that I truly believe that if there's anything in the world that I truly wanted to do, I'm fully capable of it. If I wanted to go to Mars, if I want to be a billionaire, I tell everyone I want to be a billionaire. I'm not ashamed of it. That's what I want. That's what I'm working towards. And I don't see any reason why I would limit myself and say, if I'm thinking financially of what I want to be a millionaire. I have lots of things. I can spend $1 million in my head very easily. So I have a lot of things I want to do in the world, and being well resourced and being empowered and claiming what I want and knowing what I want and going after what I want has been something that has really tremendously helped me in what I've wanted to do. And that directly translated into my educational journey. So with my parents' background as entrepreneurs, I saw exactly how valuable law was in business. It is the framework of business. It's the fabric of business. It's the rules of the road that we all have to play by. I wanted to go to law school to be the best entrepreneur that I could be. I wanted to work in big law so that I was working on everyone's hardest issues, so that I was counseling executives and entrepreneurs on the hardest things that they were encountering with confidence, so that when I had those same challenges in my own business, I felt that I had enough experience to shape my decisions, make informed decisions, guide myself through those challenging times, and essentially arm and equip myself with everything that I can. That's been the foundation of my approach to business. That's been my foundation of books that I read, of my educational structure that I created. So when I wanted to go into undergraduate, I wanted to get as much information as I could. And so I triple majored in international business, finance, and real estate. I was the first student in University of South Carolina's history to do so. And I did that to provide a solid foundation of business, a solid understanding. I wanted to make the most of my time. And what I did from there was I did my JD and MBA in 3 years as well at Villanova University. Again, I wanted to create opportunity for myself by giving myself more experience, more knowledge, being able to pursue as much as I could in that time and make the most of that time, so that when I went into corporate law, I was positioned to be the best corporate attorney that I could be, but also to then go back and be the best entrepreneur that I could be. So I'm constantly thinking of things of how can I give myself opportunities? How can I position myself for opportunities? If I just had a JD, that would give me a certain set of opportunities. But if I had a JD and MBA, that would open me up to way more opportunities. So at Villanova, I was awarded the Herman Mitchell Schwartz Award for my contributions to the equity and equitable treatment of women in our society, and the Dorothy Day Service Award for my pro bono contributions to the community, which I have continued. And I worked in big law for 7 years. It was a tough experience, and it was something that I continued solely because of it was the experience that I was looking to have to be able to support my journey. It was tough to constantly focus on that. There was a lot of adversity that I faced, but it continued to build my resilience, and it's been something that has served me well. So while it wasn't the easiest path, it was the path that I chose to support me further in my career. I'm constantly making deposits, or another analogy would be that I'm constantly planting seeds to be able to capitalize on later in my career. I'm constantly investing in myself, investing in my education, investing in my knowledge, whether that's reading, listening to podcasts, pursuing courses. I'm constantly investing back in myself. That's one of the biggest things that's helped me be successful. So let's dive into all the entrepreneurial aspects that we've been doing in the last 5 years. 5 years. Gosh, oh my gosh, has it been 5 years? I can't believe it's been 5 years. Let's dive into all of those. The number one question I'm asked is, how do I do all of the things that I do? So I made a course, workshop, and workbook sharing all the details. Unleash your potential with the Wild Ambition Lifestyle Design course. Transform your dreams into reality with guided vision setting, storyboarding, journaling, and all the tools that I use to bring my dreams to life. With over 100 lessons, 200 plus pages of workbooks, and lifetime access so you can return to it whenever you need, you'll have all the tools that you need. Empower yourself with actionable steps to create the life you've always desired. This course is the blueprint to achieving confidence, success, and fulfillment. Join our community of ambitious individuals committed to living their most authentic lives. Start your journey today and enroll now to dream and live with wild ambition. I did not have the intention of founding Dean Street Law. When I left Big Law, I felt like I had reached the pinnacle of learning what I could to become an entrepreneur through my journey through law. So my immediate focus was writing books and sharing that knowledge. That's been something really strong on my heart for a long time. And so I was writing books 2 weeks in, and this book is 80% done. I am publishing a few books this year. Maybe it will include that book as well. And I had one of my former clients reach out to me on LinkedIn and Facebook and ask me to negotiate their multi-million and multi-billion dollar transactions. And it was quite an honor to be asked to work for them and continue the relationship. And so I said, okay, well, I need a law firm. And I decided if I was going to start a law firm, it would be so different than anything that's ever been done before, both in terms of culture and employee support, training and mentorship, and personal and professional development are truly at the heart of Dean Street Law. It's so important to me that our employees and team feel supported and have a wonderful experience in their professional development. And I wanted to revolutionize the way that we provide client services, do things completely different than anything I've seen in the legal field, be very innovative. And so when I had the opportunity, while I hadn't ever thought to create a law firm, I'd always intended to do it for myself. When I had the opportunity to create a law firm, I wanted to be the change I wanted to see in the world. And it surprised me how much I loved being able to create something completely different and really flip the script on what it is to be a corporate law firm, especially one specializing in multi-million and multi-billion dollar transactions in corporate law. Since founding Dean Street Law, we have closed over $10 billion of transactions. It has been such an incredible journey, something I'm so proud of. We scaled quickly to multi-six figures and a team of 8. And so because of that, I needed office space and needed a space and a hub to build my brand, to have brand photography and to be able to create content, to have meetings, to be able to discuss things with clients, to have something that inspires me. And having worked in a corporate setting, it tends to really drain your energy. And as a farm girl, I want to bring the outside in. As you can see, I want to be surrounded by plants. I want to have something light and bright that energizes me. And so having never been to a co-working space before, I wanted to continue an idea that I had when I was in law school. When I was in law school, I was building out a community space in my head and on paper in documents, including the roles for my dream team, which I have the name of my team now is the Dream Team. So I was building out roles. I was even building out employee descriptions for hiring. 10 years ago, before I had a business, before there was any ability for me to hire these folks, I was dreaming out what my dream team would be. And so I wanted a community space where people could gather that was inspiring, that built connections. It's really a continuation of everything that I was doing, sharing women's stories so that we could grow from one another. And I wanted that to be something that we could do in a physical space as well. Through my blog, Live Lovely, I was connecting a lot of women, elevating their voices, sharing their stories so that we could learn from one another, and was planning meetups, in-person events, and needed a space for that. And so when I thought that I needed office space, I didn't just want to rent an office and be bored to tears, bored out of my mind from a space that didn't inspire me. I wanted to create a space that didn't just inspire me, but inspired community, that was somewhere where people could gather, where we could support and lean on one another, where we could grow together. It's so fundamental and foundational to everything that I've been building for a really long time. And so when I had the opportunity to create a community space, it was a no-brainer for me, and immediately started building out Flourish. I think I started Dean Street Law January of 2019. I think I started building out Flourish in June or July specifically, and really renovations jumped off and got started in November, and then we launched it in January of 2020. So it's something that's been a long time coming in my head, and something that I've been building out in my mind. I'd never been into a co-working space, and I didn't want to go into a co-working space when I was envisioning what I wanted my space to be. I had an interesting time where I worked from home, which is very rare for big law pre-COVID. And I had to work from home for a few weeks because Bear, my golden retriever, who spent the last 14 years being my best friend, who sadly passed away a few months ago, he and I went through law school together. And when he was a bit of an older gentleman, he tore his ACL, and I had to work from home with him. And it was revolutionary to me how much I loved working from home. And I wanted my office space to feel like home. And going back into the office after that opportunity to work from home, I just felt that tremendous difference in my energy, my creativity, my output, my perspective, my whole well-being changed so drastically. And it centered me in the idea that how we work can be so different. How we can gather can be so different. We can have these light and bright spaces that bring the outdoors in. At Flourish, we have over 200 plants. All of the spaces built from natural textures and an elevated decor. It's built to energize you. It's built to feel like home. It's sustainable. There's a lot of sustainability that you'll see as a through line in a lot of what I do in my businesses. We renovated it to be sustainable, and wanted to just create a space that gives you energy, that gives back to you, that nourishes you, that is the perfect space to create your best ideas, to bring your biggest dreams to life, to gather, support one another, celebrate your biggest life moments. So I'm really excited that I've been able to build that in Flourish. Now, we did have some time there where we went through the pandemic. 3 months after opening Flourish, technically 2 and change after opening Flourish, we were shut down for 4 months with the pandemic. I think if you listen back to some prior episodes, you can hear about that experience. It was very challenging. And I will say, not even was it most challenging being closed for 4 months after just opening, but it was even more challenging when we did reopen, that no one wanted to check out new spaces. No one wanted to go anywhere. We lived in a lot of fear at that time as a society, and it was very challenging to own a small business. It's so sad to me that we have lost over 50% of the co-working spaces that I've known about in the space, in the local area. Not only to Westchester, but in Philadelphia, over 50% of them have shut down. And that is so sad to me, because I do think that co-working spaces will be an incredible tool for the future, but it was a very tricky time where you have long-term leases that co-working spaces are committed to, and short-term memberships that are paused or canceled due to COVID. So it was definitely a challenge. It was one of my bigger challenges as an entrepreneur, but I really leaned on a lot of the experience that I had supporting people in their hardest decisions in their most challenging times as a corporate attorney. I leaned on diving into learning as much as I could. I'm very fortunate that I have self-funded all of my businesses, and I'm very lean. So when I start a business, I start it as lean as possible. I create so much runway for myself to make mistakes and fail, and for things to take longer for me to make money than expected. And we were losing so much money during the pandemic, but I've created enough cushion for myself, enough runway to catch myself when I fall. And that's been integral in why I've been able to not only start 5 businesses, but maintain them successfully and continue to grow them through tremendously changing economic times. So once Flourish had its debut and we were really hit and pushed back on our heels quite a bit, I said, okay, I have some time to really bring my educational courses that I was passionate about to light. And so the last half of 2020, I was building out like crazy the LD brand. And so through the shop on DiFrancesco.co, you can find Wild Ambition, a course with over 100 lessons, video lessons, written materials, workbooks over several hundred pages. There's 4 or 5 workbooks included with the course. Some of them are 25, some of them are 60 pages each, that goes through all of the things that I do to bring my dreams to life, not just on a business perspective, but really on a fundamental personal perspective. It's my lifestyle design approach. It is exactly how I approach my philosophy on so many different things, and I invite you to check it out. I created a workbook, a workshop, as well as a full course. So there's something for any flavor. If you're interested in the behind the scenes of how I make my dreams a reality, it's the number one question I get asked even before I started multiple other businesses. And so it's something that I was very passionate about bringing to others to be able to support them in their journey. And I also created the 60 Days to Launch Your Business course as well during that time. And it details all the processes that I go through when I am launching my businesses, everything from your idea to your business plan to your launch planning, your website, your physical space, all the things that I think about in that process. And it has over 100-page workbook to take you through that as well. I also launched Legal Foundations, which are the legal fabric of business. And so it is an online course with dozens of videos on the legal aspects of starting and operating your business. I also launched the Startup Bundle, which is exactly how to start a business legally, how to register a single member LLC, the operating agreement, everything that you need. The website bundle, which are the legal contracts you need for your website, for your business, and so many other resources. We've continued to add to that. We now have Acquisition Insights, which is the legal course on how to buy a business. So if you are interested in acquiring a business, check out our Deal Making with Laura DiFrancesco podcast, my Twitter, DiFrancesco, and the acquisition course. And of course, you can always work with Dean Street Law. That is what we specialize in, is mergers and acquisitions and corporate law. So that was a fun adventure. And then once I got all that off of my heart, life changed in miraculous ways. Discover Flourish co-working space, where your best ideas come to life in a lush, sustainable, and inspiring environment. Nestled in the heart of Westchester, Pennsylvania, Flourish is more than a workspace. It's a community that nurtures your growth. Whether you're an entrepreneur, creative, or professional, you'll find the perfect setting to thrive or host events. Come as you are, and let's grow together. Book your tour today and start flourishing. I am constantly working to meet preparation and opportunity. And I'm constantly creating opportunities for myself and positioning myself for success and planting seeds for things that I don't know whether or not they will come to fruition. As you can imagine, as someone who grew up on a farm, it has been near and dear to my heart and the biggest dream of my lifetime to have a farm of my own. I thought this was going to be something that was not feasible or achievable until I was well into retirement. I thought that it was something that I would have to wait decades to be able to achieve. And both from my ingenuity and creativity and entrepreneurial attitude in life, as well as consistently investing in myself. And part of that is the financial investments I make in myself. I save and save and save and save and continue to build investments. I invest in real estate. I invest in people buying businesses. I invest in a lot of different things. And I am I would say, I live below my means. I really focus on living below my means. And that's been something that enabled me to buy my dream farm and launch Ethereal Farms. So it was a very long process. I have some YouTube videos. Actually, if you want to check out my YouTube, there's all the behind the scenes on how I built out Ethereal Farms, the behind the scenes of us renovating the mill and working on the farm and everything. It's been an incredible opportunity. And so when I had the opportunity to buy the farm, it would only make sense if it also was income generating. Hence how I launched Ethereal Farms and why I launched Ethereal Farms. And it is the farm next to our sister farm, Wayvine Winery and Vineyard. If you don't know of it, check it out. We have live music, food trucks, estate-made wines. There's over 1,000 acres of hiking. We have our whole fur family there, our goats, mini donkeys, horses, chickens, ducks, dogs, cats. I'm sure some more things in the future as well. And it's an incredible experience, 360-degree view of pristine Chester County, Pennsylvania farmland. There is just the most incredible feeling that you have when you're there. It's why I named it Ethereal Farms. It feels so otherworldly. Haven't been in a space so close to the city and so close to so many other things where in every direction that you look, it is rolling hills, draping forests. It is something of its own that I've never experienced before. And I'm so proud to be a steward of the land and of the animals. It's something that I take very seriously. I love pouring my time, energy, resources into regenerative farming and making our farm the most beautiful place that it can be. It's a 1700s historic farm. Everything is original. It is so wonderful, the history and rich culture within the farm, but it hasn't been fully lived in for 16 years. So there are so many things that we're doing to restore it and bring it to life and give it the heart and soul that it deserves. And it's something I'm so proud of. It's conserved farmland in Chester County, Pennsylvania. And I am so proud to care for this land and use regenerative farming to not just enjoy the land, but to nourish it and give it what it needs to have a prosperous life for the rest of its life. I think it's a really wonderful thing that we can do with our time and energy, and something I'm really excited to be able to do. Would give anything for that farm. It's a lifetime venture for me. It's a lifetime project. There will always be projects that we're doing. And I feel so grateful that I'm able to do this in this phase of my life. So in addition to giving back to the farm, I've also been in the last 5 years doing a tremendous amount of work for the community as well. We have Flourish. We've hosted over 90 events at Flourish. I also have spoken at a couple dozen events each year, from universities to conferences, workshops, pro bono work for women entrepreneurship groups, speaking on podcasts and press and media interviews. So I've truly been the person that I've always wanted to be, and that's made me really happy. I'm currently competing for Miss Pennsylvania USA. I'm so excited. There was originally an age limit to Miss Pennsylvania USA, and every time that age limit lifted, I tended to be a few years aged out still and ineligible. And they've just removed the age limits. And when I was originally competing in Miss Pennsylvania USA, I had a vision of who I wanted to become. And when I didn't become Miss Pennsylvania USA, I decided that I didn't need someone to tell me who I could be to be the person I wanted to be. I had a vision of who I wanted to be. And so embodying that person, embodying my idea of Miss Pennsylvania USA has been what I've done for the last decade, and something that I'm so proud of. I have a scholarship where my goal is to give over $100,000 of scholarships. I mentor so many of our team members through our internship program. I speak at local universities and love hosting community events here at Flourish. It's something that I'm so proud to do, and I'm excited to continue to have the opportunity of pursuing my dreams to become Miss Pennsylvania USA. It's a natural extension of everything that I've been doing, and it's so exciting to me to return to this dream of mine when I, before, had a bio, had dreams, and today I'm living those dreams. To me, that feels so fulfilling. And in competing for Miss Pennsylvania USA, I'm returning to a fun hobby of mine. If you know me, you know that I love the outdoors. I love horseback riding. I love anything active, but I also love anything artistic. And that includes making couture evening gowns. This started when I was originally competing for Miss Pennsylvania USA. I always have a very clear vision of what I want in my life, especially from a design perspective. I'm very visual. And so it's hard to shop for an evening gown when you have an idea in your mind of what you want to wear and you don't see it available. So what I did was, for photo shoots, I started creating dresses that I wish I could wear, that I wish I could have in photo shoots, that I wish I could buy. And I have no idea how to sew. I don't know how to use a sewing machine. I'm really not talented. I don't know what anything means. I don't know how to pin things, but I just start taking the next action that I can think of, and little by little things come together and we make evening gowns. We just don't look at the precise sewing because it's not that pretty. But from the overall picture, it is the execution of my idea. And so at the last Miss Pennsylvania USA, I made my evening gown. I had a sketch, a vision. It took me over 200 hours to make it. Had 4 different types of laces that I put together to be a lace pattern that's never been created before and never will be created again. I used thousands of Swarovski crystals to make it shine, and was so excited to wear that on stage. And I am now doing that again with this competition. I have this stunning evening gown that I've been working on. It's all designed in my head and it's almost done. Right now it is at the tailor being hemmed, and I'm excited to wear it on stage. It's absolutely stunning. And I've also designed, if I were to win Miss Pennsylvania USA, what I would wear to Miss USA for my state costume, and if I were to win Miss USA, what I would wear to Miss Universe for my national costume. I always believe if you're going to dream, believe in yourself, believe that you can attain anything on your heart's desire. There's no reason why you should limit your dreams. And that's been so helpful in me being able to achieve all that I have, but more importantly, to be able to live and express my authentic self. I really truly believe that we are born with dreams on our heart and things that we want to do in our life. We're very purpose-driven individuals. And I think sometimes if you can't find that purpose, it's probably because you're clouding it, or because you don't believe in yourself enough to actually claim the vision that you see for yourself. So that's been very central to everything I do, is bringing those dreams on my heart out into reality, being the change that I wish to see in the world, sharing everything that I know to educate, support, celebrate billions of women and entrepreneurs. I'm so excited that you're rejoining me in this journey. I'm so excited to continue the We Grow Together podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you will rate this, give it a 5-star review, share with your friends, screenshot it, tag me on social media at Laura M. DiFrancesco. Thank you so much for joining the We Grow Together podcast. As you know, it's my philosophy that we can share our stories and as a collective, supporting one another, have the ability to achieve more individually than we ever could possibly alone. So thank you so much. Cheers. We Grow Together. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the We Grow Together podcast. I hope today's conversation inspired you, provided valuable insights, and brought you closer to your more authentic self. If you enjoyed the episode, please be sure to give a 5-star review and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Also, be sure to screenshot and share on social media whenever you can. Sharing your support of the podcast really helps us to grow and continue making episodes just like this. You can see all of the links in the show notes for more access to guides, all of our social media information, resources, how to connect with us. And I hope that you join us in the next episode where we'll be sharing more innovative ideas, stories, all with our philosophy that we grow together. I'll see you in the next episode.